We got a lot to discuss. So watch this video and then we're gonna talk a whole lot.
She was only 18 years old, died 6 months pregnant because Texas does not allow abortions when it comes to the safety of the mother. Now her mother is without a daughter. 18 years old. She went to 2 different ERs and they refused to admit her. One of them turned her away saying she had strep throat, even though she told them she had severe abdominal pain and was bleeding. By the time she got to the 3rd ER, she was already experiencing sepsis. Her organs were failing. It would be another 2 hours before they would treat her because they had to make sure that her pregnancy was in fetal demise. By the time they were able to treat her with an abortion, she had died at the age of 18. How is this pro-life?
Nevaeh, which I think is the right pronunciation, but please correct me if I'm wrong. She passed, I think, 3 days ago from when I'm recording this, 3 or 2 days ago. This is Jocelyn Barnica. She passed 2 days ago, also in Texas, from a miscarriage because she needed a medically induced abortion and was not allowed. This trend is, let's just start the conversation. Oh, it's also important to know, as you could probably tell by this photo, that Jocelyn, while she was pregnant, she was also the mother of a child already. Jocelyn was 28 years old. So before I dive into this, hi, for those of you who are new here, my name is Shayna. I'm a journalist. I talk a lot about decentering men and child-free living. If any of that sounds like a vibe, please like, share, and subscribe. I always appreciate a super thanks. And if you're curious about how to start your freelance writing journey, DM me your email address so that way I can put you on the mailing list for my masterclass that's coming out soon. Now, let's dive into this, which is the beginning of a bigger, darker wormhole. That honestly, I'm not gonna say that I just tapped my foot into because we've all been living it, but I want to piece together some very scary puzzle pieces for some people. So this is an abstract from the NIH National Library of Medicine, and I will include the link to this below. Unsafe abortion, unnecessary maternal mortality. Now this piece of the abstract is about the global experience. How many women globally have been dying or being killed, honestly, because of unsafe abortions. So every year worldwide, about 42 million women with unintended pregnancies choose abortion. And nearly half of those procedures, 20 million, are unsafe. Some 68,000 women die of unsafe abortion annually, making it one of the leading causes of maternal mortality, 13%. I would just like to further reiterate, this is not the purpose of what I'm about to say, isn't the purpose of this specific video. There's so many others about this. The leading thing that causes the death among pregnant people are men. Homicides. So keep that in mind, but we're moving on. Because this specific number, daunting and terrifying as it is already, one, I think that this number is probably increased, especially as it relates to the United States. I think that this abstract was written around 2009. I want to say, I'm going to double check that. If I am incorrect, I will make a little note somewhere. But this does not fully account for what's happening in the United States. So I wanted to do a little bit more digging into that. And here is what I found. From ProPublica, maternal deaths are expected to rise under abortion bans, but the increase may be hard to measure. From ProPublica, link to this will also be below. And I will not read the entirety of this article, but there are some sections that I think are so important. So let's start from the beginning of this top paragraph. Even for people who don't develop sudden life-threatening complications, doctors note that carrying a pregnancy to term is inherently risky because rapid physical and hormonal changes can exacerbate chronic health complications and trigger new complications. If more people are forced to continue unwanted pregnancies, there are bound to be more pregnancy-related deaths. A study at the University of Colorado estimates a 24% increase in maternal deaths if the United United States bans abortion federally. They are predicted to they predicted the increase would be even higher for Black patients at 39%. Currently, 14 states have total abortion bans. We're going to fast forward a little bit more to this part right here. The data can be inconsistent. I'm going to put a terrifying puzzle piece together here. It's not confirmed, but it is a strong theory. So each state has its own system for compiling the data maternal mortality researchers work with. The quality of the data varies vastly by the state. It can involve comparing birth and fetal death records, scanning through obituaries, and sometimes begging coroner's offices to send death records. Many states are still working towards a complete system. Now, here is something that I would like for us to consider as I continue reading. And I've talked about this in a previous video, I'm going to link it right up there, about how under the Trump administration, under the Trump Supreme Court, Chevron was overturned. And Chevron allows for regulatory agencies, basically the people that say, hey, you can't put arsenic in food, you can't put plastics in baby formula, that kind of a thing. Those are gone now. Those are gone now. And not just for food, but for everything, for all kinds of like safety and parameters. So when it comes to the regulatory agencies that would be fact checking these compiled pieces, these data points, what regulatory agencies? It would be the government. It would be the government if they even chose to, but would the same government that overturned Roe v. Wade and that is full of people that can't open PDF documents, that government? Really? So let's just continue on with that in mind. It really depends on the rigor of the contributing entities, said Dr. Michelle Owens, a maternal fetal medical specialist and the clinical chair for Mississippi's Maternal Mortality Review Committee. We rely so heavily upon the information we glean from these sources, and if that information is not as reliable, it will definitely have a negative impact on our work. And right up here, understanding of what the contributing things may have been and what the gaps are. All the maternal mortality experts that ProPublica spoke with noted issues with the pregnancy checkbox used in death certificates to denote whether a patient was pregnant at the time of death or within the previous year. Sometimes the checkbox is wrong because of clerical errors, the researchers said. Other times it's simply not filled out because no autopsy was performed to verify whether the person was pregnant. That information could be important in measuring deaths that happened early in pregnancy, including murders. Homicide is the leading cause of death for pregnant or recently pregnant Americans. And researchers would also like to measure how abortion bans, which could force people into abusive relationships to carry out unwanted pregnancies, affect those numbers. Now, how does this relate to relationships? Who wants to date, marry, get pregnant under these circumstances? You thought the political divide among people getting into relationships was vast before? Wait until now. In fact, this is how bad it is that they had to start making campaign commercials about this. Before I start playing this, if you are in a public space, please put your headphones in.
Oh, God. The condom broke.
Oh, I'm fine. Be in the bathroom.
Great. I'm gonna go get that now.
Sorry, you can't use that.
Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we ban Plan B.
No, you can't. You can't do this. I can't have a kid right now.
I won the last election, so it's my decision. Now let's get back in there so we can give her the news, Daddy.
That ad was all about the male's point of view. That ad was targeted towards men, and it was effective. Now, does it take into account that that woman could just die because of the pregnancy, because of that relationship, because of a number of other factors? No, because that was not the point. She was a side character in an ad targeted to make men care. Please, if you have not already and you have the ability to, vote. And unfortunately, your life does depend on it, and the lives of other people do depend on it. And I know that people say that every election, but unfortunately, it's still true. So please get out there. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Talk to you later. Stay safe.